Hey guys, welcome back to another story of Heart Demon. Today we are going to start a brand new series in which we will see what will happen if Naruto was the younger brother of Naoki, the jinchuriki of Kyuubi, pushed aside by his family for the favor of his brother. Naruto grew as an outcast in his own family. However, on the fateful night of Uchiha massacre, his life changed for the better or for the worse. Inspired by this, we can say that this Naruto has the blessing of Uchiha Madara himself by learning yin and yang split and getting Uchiha Madara's eternal Mangekil Sharingan. We will see how he will deal with the upcoming crisis on him and the world. So, if you like this series, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell icon for not only this but many other series on the channel. So, let's begin. This is the chapter 1 Awakening of Uchiha Madara. Naruto walked through the streets of Konoha, his face brimming with tears. Today was his 7th birthday, a day where a child is supposed to celebrate together with his parents, but his birthday was existence was ignored and forgotten by his so-called parents. Indeed, they often to focus all their attention on his heroic older twin brother Naoki. Naruto and Naoki, they were like different sides of the same coin, like the sun and the moon. Naruto was carbon copy of his father. He was lean for his and slightly above average in height. His sky blue, however, were dimmed with sadness and betrayal. Like his father, his hair was spiky blonde, reached his mid back. However, upon a time he had imitated his father's hairstyle, especially hoping to gain attention of his parents. But it was all sought for naught. There was time when Naruto was like any other kid, full of life and brightness. However, now Naruto was quiet and full of sadness. Cultivated through the neglect of his parents and the bullying brother. In his sadness, Naruto turned to books, hoping to one day become powerful enough to gain the attention of his parents. Naoki was a mixture to say of his parents. He was blonde hair, but it was not as vibrant as Naruto and a chubby build that had gotten from being spoiled to the core. His eyes were caramel brown. He had never known of anything but the life of luxury where he couldn't do no wrong. This in turn had given him a rotten personality. He would play pranks, both harmless and harmful, and blamed on someone else once he had assented that he could get away with. More often than not, that scapegoat was Naruto. Naoki, having everything given to him on a whim, had turned him into an extremely lazy and arrogant, believing himself to be a gift from the god. The two brothers hated each other to the core to extreme. Naruto hates Naoki for his despicable attitude and actions towards him and for stealing all the attention from his parents. As more likely than not, Naoki would do something to draw Minato and Tsunade's attention from him. Naoki, on his part, simply despised Naruto for his even existence, seeing him nothing but a mistake in this his perfect world. Naruto kept walking and walking, not knowing where to go. Suddenly, he heard a scream to his right. Due to his self-trained reflexes, Naruto turned to the source of the sound. It was from the Uchiha district. Naruto began running to the entrance of the Uchiha district and passing through, going to the source of the noise. Naruto had a sense of dread as he saw silence from the Uchiha compound with the still wet blood increasing the dread. Once he had arrived, he found his classmate, Sasuke, lying on the ground, breathing in agony. with his brother Itachi just in front of him. Itachi said, Naruto-san, why are you here? Naruto on his past gulped as he stared into Itachi's emotionless, cold black eyes. Naruto replied stutteringly, I heard a scream here. Naruto replied with his shaking voice, I say. Itachi said as he looked into Naruto's blue eyes. I'm sorry, Naruto-san. Please forgive me for this. Itachi previously dull eyes lit up to show the signature ability of the Uchiha clan, the Sharingan. Itachi wasn't done, however. His Sharingan Tomos began to merge into a tri-pronged shuriken, and suddenly he shouted out, Tsukiyomi. With a scream, Naruto felt thousands of sharp objects suddenly at once pierced him. To his relief, it wasn't much longer that he had totally lost his consciousness. When Naruto opened his eyes again, he didn't know where he was. All that he knew was that he was in a clan compound, a very rich and powerful one. By the look of it, Naruto looked around to see anybody else, but to his surprise, he saw no one else. True, the compound was very large. Curiously, Naruto stood up and started to walk around. Naruto found that there were various rooms. Each room contained various amount of scrolls and books that had large amount of knowledge and what seems like a journal of someone's life. Naruto, who developed a habit of learning everything he can, even though he stopped trying to impress his parents, so he began to read. He started from the basic. Once Naruto had finished what he wanted, he went outside and noticed that the sun hadn't even moved. What's more, he noticed that he wasn't even hungry. Strange. I know that I have been reading for at least a couple of hours now, but why am not even hungry? Suddenly, now to recall some of the information he just read. It said that for some shinobi they had a inner world where their inner mind creates a world based on the person. But if that's true, why is there so much knowledge that I don't recall having learned so much? Deciding that he wanted to find out now to continue to work out what he instinctively knew as the corner of the compound. A sea near the compound now to looked in utter bewilderment at the clan symbol that were engraved into the walls. They were the symbols of the Uchiha clan. Naruto suddenly was reminded about the Itachi and the clan massacre that happened just some time ago. But he shook those thoughts out of his head, not wanting to remember that absolutely horrific event. Naruto walked out toward the middle of his inner world that thought. When he made it to the center, he found a man with long black hair, a red shinobi armor from the older days, which he read from the books and seen images, chained in his glowing blue chains that felt like chakra. Black chakra seems to forcibly exclude out of the man and followed the chain up to the sun. At least that seems like where the chain come from. But what surprised him was the kanji for the seal that was in front of the man. But who is this man? It seemed to me as he is still inside me. But who is? Naruto kept pondering to himself, but suddenly it clicked. Naruto had read from scores about the Senju Hashirama, and the encounter with him there was only one person who could have known that much about the Soda and survived that many times. The man before him was Uchiha Madara. But why is he sealed inside me? Could it be that the Sandem sealed it inside me that the day he sealed the Kyubi inside Naoki? No, It couldn't be that possible. Now Uchiha Madara is long dead. Resolving to find out, Naruto went to the various rooms and began reading. As Naruto read the scrolls and books, absorbing the knowledge, days and weeks passed at the least. That was what it seems to Naruto. Naruto learned that some of the rooms were locked, and no matter what Naruto did, he could never get into it. It seemed like knowledge inside there could not be accessed at the moment. So Naruto changed his goals to learn how to exit his mind and enter it. But that doesn't mean Naruto didn't read the scrolls or the book that he was interested in. Far from it. Naruto actually spent more time reading than finding a way out. Among those books contain various chakra control exercises, chakra apparently, use of the Sharingan, a whole lot of jutsu. The reason Naruto read about how to use the Sharingan was simple. He figured that he was absorbing Uchiha Madara's power from the chain as it connected to the sun, to which Naruto thought represented him. One day, Naruto finally found the information he needed. He read it once, twice, and even thrice. Before he attempted, he sat down in a meditative position and closed his eyes before starting to concentrate. When he opened his eyes, he found himself staring at a white ceiling. Hospital. Huh? With a groan, he got up. Looking around, he saw no one at beside him. Naruto looked down. Clearly, he was really depressed about it. Hello? A voice cut through the silence. He looked up to see a silver haired shinobi with a small ponytail and glasses looking at him. Yeah, Naruto asked, finding out that his mouth was quite dry. The shinobi, who seems to be a genuine, sighed in relief annoyance. Naruto didn't know, but the genuine took care of Naruto, bringing him up to date. Naruto found out that from Kabuto, the name that the genin in front of gave to him that he had been unconscious for about a month and a half. Yet no one visited him, no one. Naruto closed his fist angrily at that, thanking Kabuto and the doctor that Kabuto brought Naruto went back to the sleep knowing that he will be able to discharge tomorrow. Naruto walked toward his house, the Namikaze state, after having just been discharged from the hospital. When he walked inside, he saw no one greeted him. His father was said to be meeting the high daimyo this week, so it was to be expected. His brother was probably at the ninja school while his mother was inside the house. Naruto looked around the house before finding his mother at the garden. Naruto walked toward his mother and stood in front of her. What do you want, bastard? She said with a venom lacing every single word. Bastard, that was what she called him. Whenever Minato wasn't around, Naruto studied her for as long as he could remember. His mother hated, but she doted and loved Naoki, who was said to be his twin brother. Was it because she was born second? Was it Naruto intended to finally figure it out? Why do you hate me? Am I not your son? Naruto asked pleadingly. His mother, Namikaze Senju Tsunade, looked at Naruto's eyes with his own, staring into them for an indefinite amount of time. Suddenly, she slapped Naruto in the cheek so hard it made him bleed from his nose and mouth. She then started laughing. It wasn't mocking, it was as if she found it truly funny. Where she had stopped, she directly looked at Naruto. You finally asked this question, huh? Well, let me tell you, you aren't my son. In fact, you weren't even related to me. You are a son of a whore. Ujumaki Kusina, let me tell you the truth. Ujumaki Naruto, your father Minato was in love with me, but suddenly your whore of a mother seduced him. It wasn't that much of importance after all. I made every effort to make her life hell. But I found out that she was pregnant, just like me. We both were pregnant about the same number of time. I wanted to kill you right there and then, but your father said no. There something wondrous happened. Your mother, the former jinchuriki of Kaiwi, died and unleashed the Kyuwi. Saratobi sensei died sealing it, but your mother died too. With that said, Tsunade kicked Naruto into the air hard enough it would leave bruises but no permanent damage. Naruto swore that on that day he would grow powerful enough to make them regret ever doing this to him as he laid on the ground, coughing and trying to get up. He had already found all the plans he needed for the future. And half years later, Naruto checked his scroll, making sure that everything he had prepared for the last 3 years were there and ready to be taken with him. Naruto has grown quite tall since that day. He was currently on the fourth of a head taller than Naoki. His face has become much slender and slightly girlish, but it was one of the portrayal confidence and intelligence. Unlike Naoki, he was still a troublemaking and brash. Speaking of the troublemaking, 6 months ago, his father had found out that Naoki was using Naruto as the scapegoat. But all he received was a slap on the wrist, nothing like the confinement Naruto received as the punishment. And much to Naruto's horror, he had fangirls. Yes, you heard that right. Fangirls is savoring at the thought of those demonic beasts. Now to put a scroll in his pouch, which was tied on his left side on the snatch. On the same sash, there was a kokuto. There was on his backside for clothing. Naruto had a black high collar Uchiha style long sleeve shirt, black shinobi pants with leg sandals. He had wristband on both of his arms with summoning symbols on them. It was much like the clothing Uchiha Madara had during the clan wars when he didn't wear his red shinobi armor. Speaking of the Uchiha clan, there was the symbol of the clan on Naruto's shirt that you could see with Naruto waist-length, vibrant blonde hair that was styled much like Madara's. Silently jumping out of his window, Naruto began to run through the streets of Konohagakure. It was much safer on the road than on the roof, as the most of the ninja stationed there would look at the roof instead of the road. As Naruto ran, he thought about all that preparations he did for this day, the day he would escape from Konoha. Years ago, after the shocking revelation, Naruto had confirmed that he had the Sharingan. Although at first it was only about two tomos in one eye and one in the other. Through training, Naruto had managed to evolve them to the fully mature version at the age of 9. Of course, he only trained with it when he was sure no one was looking. And he was sure as hell that didn't tell anyone, especially his mother. After gaining 3 tomos in age, he found out that more rooms in his mind escape has been unlocked, some of which told about eternal Mangekil Sharingan. It only 6 months ago that Naruto could start using Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and even now, those jutsu drain Naruto of quite a large amount of chakra, even with the large amount he had already being as a born of a Jinchuriki, Hokage, and sippening Madara's own power and chakra. In the past year, Naruto had been slowly stealing his father's Horizon no Jutsu kunais, taking only a little amount each time so that his father wouldn't notice. He also copied a scroll of various jutsu in a scroll that he had on him. It contained of Horizon no Jutsu, Rasengan, and many Reten, Futon, Katen Jutsu. That wasn't it all. Naruto had made Kakashi show him his prized technique, Chidori. Naruto used his Sharingan to copy the Jutsu. Discreet, of course, he didn't want his secret to be found so soon after all. He also looked and found files on his mother. From what Naruto gathered first, his father was in love with his mother first and Tsunade second. The reason his father ever loved Tsunade was because his father Namikaze Effing Minato broke up with his mother, Kusina, and started going out with Tsunade. But he and his mother made up and started go out again. But it turned out Minato didn't dump Tsunade. No, he started to two-time both of them. The damn fucking bastard, Naruto thought, but there was a good thing that came out of it. Naruto found that he could use chakra chains, much like his mother, but they were thinner and weaker from what he read about. Maybe the strength come with the usage, Naruto thought. Naruto hadn't just trained his mind in his past 3.5 years. No, he had also made sure to train his body in taijutsu and Kenjutsu. While he trained it, he had met a girl named Tenten who admired Tsunade and wanted only to become like her, much to his disgust. The only reason he met Tenten regularly was to buy kunais and shurikens to practice with and the other tools such as chakra weights. But thinking back, he had formed a small bond of friendship with her, but it wasn't to stop him from leaving. It was enough, however, for him to leave a letter detailed with the truth behind Tsunade and his family. Hopefully, it would snap her out of her delusions about the so-called Slaksanin and Kunoichi that every one of them would strive to be. Naruto also didn't neglect to train his chakra control either, because somehow his chakra is growing way too fast, and the chakra control capacity he need is as near perfection as he could, like at least at the moment. Naruto had also trained with Keiten and Reiten Jutsu, and he had found out his main affinity was lightning. He knew that his fire affinity wasn't that far behind as long as he kept using Keiten Jutsu. He had also practiced some low Futon Jutsu just to boot his Keiten Jutsu. Despite all this, Naruto was only average in the eyes of many. Why? It was because Naruto deliberately held back in the Shinobi Academy. He didn't want people to find out he was strong after all. Much to Naruto's amusement, he was somehow always one place in front of Naoki, much to the latter's hatred. Naruto snapped out of his thought when he was nearing the gate. As he neared the gate, he saw that there were the great keepers were Izumo and Kotetsu, the infamous duo known to sleep on the job. Not that Naruto wasn't thankful. In fact, Naruto was very thankful to whatever the god there was to give him such a really opportunity. Today, the day Namikaze Senju Naruto dies, and the birth of Nedam Uchiha Madara. So this is one of the fanfiction I found on the internet, and many of the Naruto fanfics are really weird. Okay, but this one is absolutely weird. Just think about it. Here, Naruto is obviously son of Minato and Kusina, but the point is, Minato is here a complete bloody bastard. He is doing a two-time thing with Kusina and Tsunade. Tsunade has become a bit of a psychotic bitch here, and yeah, I don't really like the character of her in this story, but big is justice like thing. So yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell icon. I will meet you in the second episode of this series. So the videos will become in my own original voice from now on. So don't worry about it, because the new things of YouTube policies are about originality and things like that. The AI voice or the text to speech voice should be unable to get me to monetize my videos. So I'm getting back. I'm getting back to my original voice. So yeah. See you later, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also share this video with every Naruto fan you have.